Chag Sameach, everyone. Happy Hanukkah. Today we're going to be talking about Hanukah, which is the celebration that we are celebrating right now. Hanukkah is, as I said, a celebration. It is a happy, happy holiday. It is by far the most celebrated Jewish holiday of any of the holidays, which is funny because it's actually not considered the most important holiday. And it's certainly not the oldest, and certainly we don't do the most during Hanukkah, but amongst Jews all over the world, it is the most celebrated holiday. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about why. Today I'm going to be reading from some notes that I have typed out, so I won't be looking at the camera as much, but there's a lot that I want to say and I really don't want to forget what I'm saying. So, first of all, what are we celebrating? In a nutshell, I'll just give you some historical perspective. In the 2nd century BCE, the Greeks were oppressing the Jews in Jerusalem and in Israel, and we basically triumphed over them, which was a complete statistical impossibility that we actually won this. I guess it wasn't even a war because our side was so small, but we just won this war over the Greeks, and that was a miracle. So that's one thing that we're celebrating. We're also celebrating the fact that after we won this war, we reclaimed the temple, which is the Jewish temple in Jerusalem, is the most important place for Jews in this world. It is basically the house that we built for God to rest in this world. I can't give you all the details about this. This is a very, very deep discussion about the temple, but basically it was a big deal that we reclaimed the temple. And when we got to the temple, we realized that the menorah, which is the candelabra that was inside the temple, had only 1 day's left of oil for the candle that was lighting. This is a candle that is supposed to burn eternally and for all time. So when we got back in there and realized that there was enough for only 1 day, we were pretty upset because we have to travel to go get more oil, and the travel to find more oil is much more than 1 day. So we thought that, oh no, the candle might go out. Anyway, another miracle happened. The candle lasted for 8 days, which is why we celebrate Hanukkah for 8 days. Anyway, this is amazing. Let's celebrate, right? So this is something that happened in the past and we are commemorating it, right? That's what we're doing today. No, this is not what we're doing. The Jewish calendar, as we know it, is circular. Therefore, what happened in the 2nd century BCE is happening right now. These energies, these potentials are circular. They come back every single year, and they come back every single time we celebrate a holiday. So Jews, we are not about commemorating something that happened in the past. You know, really, because what's the point of that? That's not going to change you, and that's not going to make you a better person to just remember what happened in the past. We are celebrating what is happening right now. So this is so much more than just a celebration of what happened in the past. So I'm going to discuss a little bit about what we should be doing today. Those of us that live overseas, or those of us that live everywhere in this world, know that we really need miracles right now. We need the sort of miracles that happened way back then. We really, really need it now. This holiday represents, at its deepest point, it represents the triumph of the soul over the body. The Greeks at the time represented their culture. Really, they worshipped the human body. They worshipped the physical, food, statues, very, very physical culture. Now, Judaism does not say that we should not enjoy the physical. We're not like Buddhism. We're not saying that we should, sit on a mountaintop and abstain from these things. However, Judaism says that the physical is meaningless unless it is connected to the infinite. And this is what we're celebrating. We're celebrating that we triumph over a culture that worships only the physical and says the physical is all there is in the world and all that's important. So we triumphed over that, and Judaism is all about taking the physical and connecting it to the spiritual. So most of us in this day and age live in a very, very materialistic culture. We live in a culture where your status or your job or what you do is more important than why you do it. What you own is more important than who you are, and possessions are more important than people. So this is a pretty, I don't want to say Greek culture because I love Greek salad. But this culture that we live in is very similar to the one that we were talking about way back then. Nothing has really changed in terms of what we are trying to conquer and what we're trying to triumph over. So there's an irony about Hanukah, which when I discovered this, it made me very, very sad. But the funny thing about Hanukah is we are celebrating how the soul has triumphed over the body, how the spiritual is more important than the physical. Yet Hanukah is by far the most physical and materialistic holiday of Judaism in this day and age. If we look at how most Jews celebrate Hanukah, it's all about the presents. Now, anyone that knows about Judaism knows that nothing in Hanukah is about presents. We don't give presents on Hanukah. Yet since Hanukah is happening at a certain time of year where other stuff is going on in secular culture and different religious culture, we have adopted presents and we've basically assimilated. We are supposed to be celebrating the fact that we didn't assimilate, yet we celebrate this by assimilating. That's just breaks my heart. So let's just face this and actually realize this, that we are celebrating Hanukah in a way that actually goes against what it's supposed to be. We also have to realize that Hanukah is happening at this time of year for a reason. There's a reason why this time of year is by far the most materialistic time of the year. It's happening at this time of year because we are supposed to overcome those things. We are supposed to take these physical things that are happening around us and connect them to the spiritual. We are supposed to really, really have these miracles that happened back then happen to us right now. And we can do it because this is the time for miracles. So first we have to realize this. Then we have to realize, what do we want to do about it? Do we want Hanukah to be supposed to be about celebrating the triumph over materialism, yet we celebrate it in a materialistic way? No, we don't want that. So how are we going to face up to this? First of all, we need to understand what happened in the past and why it happened and learn our history and celebrate that. Then we need to appreciate the miracles that are happening in our lives right now. And everyone says, when the candles are burning, think about the miracles that have happened in your life. Even I've said this before. We have to really, really appreciate the miracles that are happening to us and have happened to us and be thankful and grateful for God's presence in our life. But there's one really important thing, which is what I'm trying to focus on this year, is that we need to have miracles happen right now. We need to make miracles happen for ourselves right now. And now is the time to do this. Now is the time to tap into that energy and make miracles happen to yourself and to the people around you. So we all have that thing that we're avoiding. We all have that physical desire, that self-destructive desire. We all have that conversation we're avoiding. We all have that issue that we don't want to go into because we're really afraid of the outcome or hurting ourselves or hurting another person. We all have that area of our lives that we need a miracle to happen in order to resolve this issue. So now is the time. Pick your issue, whatever it may be. Let's say it's a conversation with your boss. Let's say you want to take off a Jewish holiday in the future and you're really, really afraid about what your boss might say. This is the time to face up to these issues and go and have that conversation and ask God to be with you, because God will be with you, especially at this time of the year. This is the time for miracles. And really at this time of year, and every time of the year, but especially at this time, if we give an inch, God will give us infinite miles, because God is infinite. All we have to give is something small, something physically small, and we will get an outpouring of blessing and an outpouring of miracles. Because all we had to do is conquer our desires and basically what was happening back then. And God gave us a miracle of 8 days of light from something that could not physically possibly give us 8 days of light. Yet it did. And we are so much more than the physical. We can make the physical into spiritual, infinite things if we want to, if we just put our hearts and our minds and our souls in the right place. So let's do it. Really, this is the time for this. When we light our candles, halakha tells us that we are not supposed to do anything like cook or do any sort of work for half an hour after the candles are lit. We're just supposed to sit there and bask in the light and enjoy the glow. So during this time, I would suggest sit down with your family. Spend time with your family. Bring up some of those challenges that you're facing. Talk about these issues that are bugging you. And don't talk about it to make trouble. Talk about it because this is a time of miracles. This is a time to resolve this stuff. This is a time to make yourself better and make the world better around you. And believe me, it will happen. I know, because it happened to me on the first night. And I give you all the blessing that we be brave enough to ask for miracles, because all we have to do is ask, and they're right around the door. Okay? Chag Sameach, everyone. Happy Hanukkah. Let me know how it goes. Bye-bye.